Let's discuss living a life dedicated to God. In Acts chapter 20, verse 35, it says, I have shown you in every way by laboring like this that you must support the weak. And remember the words of the Lord Jesus that he said, it is more blessed to give than to receive. So we're to be demonstrating generosity and hard work, particularly in serving those who are less fortunate, reflecting Jesus' teaching on giving. Paul in 2 Thessalonians chapter 3, verse 7 through 9 also tells us, for you yourselves know how you ought to follow us. For we were not disorderly among you, nor did we eat anyone's bread free of charge, but worked with labor and toil day and night, that we might not be a burden to any of you, not because we do not have authority, but to make ourselves an example of how you should follow us. So Paul and his companions worked to set an example of a life dedicated to God. This sometimes means going above and beyond, working diligently and selflessly to set a pattern of responsible and considerate behavior. Living a life dedicated to God means offering ourselves in service to Him, which sets a powerful example of worship and devotion to others. Paul calls believers to a life of sacrificial worship in Romans chapter 12, verse 1, which says, I beseech you, therefore, brethren, by the mercies of God, that you present your bodies a living sacrifice, holy, acceptable to God, which is your reasonable service. And so we're to be a living testimony to all who cross our paths, but understand that starts at home. Living a life dedicated to God begins with how we train and guide our children, setting a foundation of faith and integrity that will influence their future choices. Proverbs chapter 22, verse 6 tells us, train up a child in the way he should go, and when he is old, he will not depart from it. This is emphasizing the importance of early guidance, which also shines the light on the importance of finding a godly spouse, one who is walking in the same direction that you are, not being unequally yoked, so that when children do come into the picture, there is already a firm foundation in place. So let us choose today whom we will serve. Joshua chapter 24, verse 15 says, and if it seems evil to you to serve the Lord, choose for yourselves this day whom you will serve, whether the gods which your fathers served, which were on the other side of the river, or the gods of the Amorites in whose land you dwell. But as for me and my house, we will serve the Lord. So Joshua makes a clear and bold declaration of faith here, showing that leading by example and living for God involves making a clear and decisive choice about whom we will serve and inspiring others to do so also.